go?
Let's do it.
All right. So welcome everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today for this seminar slash webinar. Oops, here we go. So welcome aboard. We want to just make sure that you guys feel welcome here, and we're really excited to share some tips with you on how to improve your digital marketing for your school. Independent schools now, of course, have an opportunity to stand out for having flexibility, hopefully in most places, and providing a more personalized learning opportunity for students. So if you're prepared to target your messaging to prospective parents, to change it as you need to right now, that's something we're going to be talking about, and encouraging them to engage with you and learn more about your school. So we're so glad you've joined us. And we're teaming up here to share some ideas and advice today with you on digital marketing. So feel free to type questions in the chat as we move through this presentation. We're here to make this a productive hour for you. And we really want you to walk away from this with some really solid ideas to improve your current marketing techniques. Please do ask questions in the chat, and we will be answering them if we can as we go along. We'll try to keep an eye on them, but also at the end, we'll have an opportunity for question and answer time. And then if we don't get to answer all of the questions, please feel free to reach out to us via email after the presentation's over, and we're happy to engage with you there as well. We also will share a recording of this webinar afterward via email, so you don't have to worry about taking a lot of notes or missing anything. And then at the very end, we're gonna have, each of us will give you a special offer. So if you stick around till the end, you'll receive that as well. So please type yes in the chat if you are ready for takeoff. If you're ready to get started. Let's see some yeses over there. All right, got a couple of yeses. Awesome. Thanks so much. Really appreciate that. All right, so let's start out with who am I? If I can get this going. So my name's Tara Clays, and my agency is called Design TLC. We specialize in websites, WordPress websites specifically, for small schools, enrichment programs, and nonprofits. I am a seasoned marketer. I started in marketing over 25 years ago, before the internet was even a thing. So direct mail, television advertising, radio, print, all of those things. And then I had my children and stayed home and started my own business, which involved marketing as well. I really was involved in my kids' education, both private and public schools, PTAs. Really loved that part of my life and parenting and engaging with the schools. My kids are now grown, and I've had this website agency for over 10 years and have really honed in on small schools as a place where I like to work and the community that I like to be involved in and help with childhood enrichment and content that supports small schools and enrichment programs. I'm passionate about it, and that helps me do a better job because I really feel like it's something that I know and understand and can help clients with. I also am a really technical and data-driven person, so we use a lot of data in making decisions to help our clients make their website a really effective piece of their marketing toolbox, and it's really a key piece, as we'll talk about today. Whether you're running advertising or doing other things to market your school, your website is really where everything comes together. So it's important that that work well. And I'm really excited to share with you some of my thoughts and experience on how you can do that with your school website. Trevor.
Up to me. All right, I'll let you start answering the front door. Welcome everyone. My name is Trevor Waddington. Let me make sure I can, there we go. That's me. I am the principal at Truth Tree Consulting. I'm a former social studies teacher. I'm a retired private school director of admissions, marketing, communications, financial aid, enrollment management, you name it. I've done it probably just like you, maybe not as much as you now, especially with all that's been going on. I have a beautiful, tenacious, and gracious wife. I have 2 daughters. They're polar opposites. And we've got 3 dogs now, and they have 11 legs. So I'll let you guys do the math on that one. I started Truth Tree 5+ years ago because I really felt, and I still feel, that you all deserve the best that marketing can offer at a fair and reasonable price. So what we really like to say is we help independent schools and summer camps design their ultimate enrollment. But enough about me. You didn't come here from my bio, you came here because of this. And the this is this. As schools, districts, counties, and states roll out their reopening plan, and who knows, during this hour, your state, your county, your district may change, and that's going to throw a monkey wrench into what your reopening may look like, or how you can leverage your school for enrollment management. So this graph here, it shows how parents virtually broke the internet in the United States in their frantic search for private school. And when it comes to the month of July, year over year, it wasn't even close. I mean, huge records were broken. I encourage you, and I love the tool, go to Google Trends to see this for yourself. You can also you can manipulate the data however you'd like, based on country, based on dates. It's a really great tool, and I love using it. Now, in addition to leading an incredibly talented team at TruthTray, I also founded and operate 2 private school search sites, which make real-time market research really accessible and frankly fun to do. I love doing that kind of research. Late last month, we actually polled parents searching dcschoolhub.com and nymetroschools.com. And of those, we found 41 parents that indicated to us that it was their first time shopping. If you're watching the video, I'm using my quote fingers now. It was the first time that they were looking for private schools, and they were looking specifically. Why is there always a crazy? I think this sound is coming from my house. It really never fails. Can you hear that, Tara? Yeah, you're on mute. We were talking earlier.
Yes, I can hear it, and it sounds like some kind of a, wait.
See, I told you we would need to use the, let me see if I mute myself.
Can't hear you. That is something at your house. Hopefully not a terrible alarm.
I have no idea what that is. See, this is the part, folks, where we're going to be editing stuff out. And people who are watching will want to know what that crazy sound is. So that's what it is. I think my wife is home, so hopefully I can ask her what it is, and when we turn things back over to Tara. As I was saying, what we did was we interviewed a bunch of parents in New York and the DC areas, and 41 of those parents indicated that they were looking for a private school for the first time ever for this fall. So what we asked them, of course, was, why are you looking? And here's what they said to us. The first thing that they really wanted, and none of this should be, groundbreaking news for you, is they were looking for in-person learning in a safe environment to alleviate the pressure on them so they could go to work, make money, and I think for a lot of us, stay sane. Others wanted a more flexible in-person or distance learning combo that allows parents to pivot either way based on their personal comfort. So some wanted to start online, and when they deemed it safe, their child could come for in-person learning. And the third type of parent in that group, they're looking for school that could be provided online, but also be very engaging, robust, and a full day learning experience versus 2 to 3 hours of distance learning with, frankly, little direct interaction with the teacher, and also little to no socialization. Now, obviously, you shouldn't kowtow to parents for the sake of higher enrollment, but chances are you are providing one of these 3 options. So if you are providing one of these options bulleted and you have space available, here's what we suggest. For starters, Google Ads. Parents searching right now for this fall do not have the time or the independent school search savvy to take hours combing Google when they can find 5 to 10 schools on pages 1 and 2. Now, I usually say parents don't have time to find you on page 6. Now, and that's really when they're in a pinch doing late season searching, but forget page 6. Now it's page 3. Today, it's so important to be on pages 1 and 2 than in the past. And you may be saying, oh my gosh, we've missed the boat, but don't despair, because our research at TruthTree has shown that while parents are concerned with distance learning, many are we're expecting to see many of them, a week or two after back to school, to then start looking again, because just things have not changed since the spring. They're not seeing the value in what their kids are getting. So let's talk about what to do, what not to do with your search and social marketing strategy right now on August 6th with whatever this beeping sound is, which, by the way, I've never heard in my life. Now, if anyone can think, and this is where, as you're typing something in the text, I can, or in the chat box, I can text my wife because, prize alert coming. If you can think of a better cliche right now than "we are living in unusual times," please put it in the chat box right now. And Truth Tree's gonna give away a 60-minute one-on-one digital marketing strategy session. If you can put in the chat, something better than saying the new normal, these crazy times, we're living in unusual times. What's something we can say so we can kind of get away from that? You can put that in the chat now, and my team will decide which one they think is the best. So I'll give you a couple seconds to do that. Well, I text
creative thinkers. Put your thinking caps on. What kind of message would you put in to replace "we're living in unusual times"? All right, no takers so far. Oh, wait, here we go. All right, stepping into the unknown. This is the time for fast and flexible skill sets. Okay.
All right, give it a couple more seconds. Sounds like we've got the countdown from, I spun the big wheel on Price is Right, and hopefully I can land on $1 here. And I just texted my wife. I hear her activating. Hopefully we can get rid of it.
Create a new normal. Ooh, I like that, Adam.
I'm going to let my team get into that. So, crisis or opportunity?
Like never before, now is the time for small interactive classes at an independent school. Nancy, crisis or opportunity. These are good, Trevor. Crisis or opportunity. Definitely seen opportunities.
There's my wife. For whatever reason, it was Alexa.
Oh, gosh.
Unplugged now. Thanks a lot, Alexa. All right. Well, that gave us a little bit of a comedy break there. So I say that because we are living in unusual times, or we're creating a new normal, as Adam had said. We are building resilience. I totally agree with that. But in these unusual times, people are searching for private schools. They're not doing it in a typical way. They aren't searching for the normal reasons. So your ads should not necessarily look like the ones you ran last year. For starters, you need to be on top, or preferably above the fold, and at very least on page 1. Now, in case some of you on this seminar were in my local area, I didn't want to, and I didn't see anybody, but if you're out there, and you're listed here, I apologize. Or even if you're not in the area and you're on here, I apologize. I don't really, but because you're getting a little bit of free pub right here. So what I did was I typed in best private school Australia. But lo and behold, the top ad is actually one of Truth Tree's school partners. So I must be a terrible digital marketer, right? But wait, you'll see it clearly states location in the headline. So hopefully the person searching for private schools in Australia will bypass the ad. But we got our client on top, which is our goal, and is our goal for most of our school partners right now. So I'm happy about that. Now, why am I so happy? Because in normal times, when people are not majorly pressed to find something, the CTR, or the click-through rate for the top listing, is 31.7%. Now, that's the rate when people are not in a rush. So imagine the rate when they are in a rush. Now, beyond the very top spot, who wants to guess, and you guys can put this in the chat, who wants to guess the click-through rate of ads above the fold, usually the top 3 or 4, and it doesn't always have to be ads, but just the snippet. Who wants to guess what the click-through rate of that is? If the top one's 31%, what do you think the top 3 and 4 are getting? Who wants to put that in the chat box? Give me a percentage. 4 to 5, 6. So we're talking about that something above the fold, or in the top 3 or 4, is getting clicked. Getting clicked. I think I think maybe I've described it wrong.
So normally it's 31%, right? So you want to say,
That's
what
the
is
top
it?
one. So everything above, you're getting closer, but you guys are still way up. There you go, Christy. Much closer. Who's seen her 80%?
Yeah.
75.1. 75.1. So the bottom line is you need right now to be on page 1. And that's if you have room at your school, if you have openings, and you have a reopening plan that is attractive to parents. Next, you need to be straightforward. Now, New Hope Academy says, we are a school, we are an academy, we're New Hope Academy. In the description, it says the ages that they serve, grades that they serve. It also says financial aid is available because no matter how affluent a public school family is, going from 0 to something is going to cause tuition shock, okay? Now, in saying that, we're not telling our school partners, you need to open up financial aid or we're going to put this in here anyway. Obviously, it has to match with what's available at the school. So how straightforward do you want to be with this ad? Because I say those because we really like to nuance our school partners' ads so they're actually differentiated from the other ones. You can see in this case, you're leading with the school name. Usually we would not always want to lead with the school name. In this case, we do because we want to be straightforward. So tongue in cheek in this fake ad, this is how straightforward you can get. I wouldn't go this far. I wouldn't be this straightforward and grandiose. But this is not a time for nuance and seduction. While our preference at Truth Tree, again, is to have ads that really talk about benefits in 30 characters or less, right now, you don't have time to do that. Our data says that parents respond to very straightforward headlines and descriptions. They just don't have time. The third thing you'll want to do to ensure that these new shoppers click on your ads is you want to talk about your reopening plan as much as possible. Will it be in person? Will it be virtual? If it is in person, what precautions are being taken? Do you need a mask? If it's virtual, how long is the day? How much do the parents need to support the student? Parents have questions and you absolutely must have answers. As a parent myself, I'm not going to entertain the idea of spending 20, 30, 40 plus $1,000 on a hazy general plan that doesn't specify exactly what will happen. And I know it's not all on you. We're in an area right now, the county that I live in, Montgomery County, Maryland, they have gone literally back and forth over a span of a week between the governor and the county saying private schools cannot open on time September 1st or whenever they start. And then the governor says, yes, they can. And the county now came out, I think it was last night or this morning, that says, no, we can't. And we're expecting later today or tomorrow that the state again will say, yes, they can. So it's a tennis match right now. And maybe you're experiencing some of that yourself. Now, any questions so far that I can answer before we jump into how you can position yourself right now on social media? Any questions so far that you want to put in the chat?
Looks quiet.
Okay. Well, so how does this translate to social? Because frantic parents, they have short attention spans. There's a lot of flip-flopping going on. You're not going to hold their attention unless you have the plan they want. And frankly, there's pressure to commit to completing a form, whether it's an inquiry form or eventually working on the application itself. So, right now, demand and scarcity are your friends. That's where you can leverage the power of social media for this. So for this example, and keep it under an hour or within an hour, let's just focus on Instagram. So Adam asked, what about SEO and PPC? SEO is important, but SEO takes months and months to really, to take hold and to move you up the ranks. Parents right now, they just want to click on whatever that top thing is. So now when we talk PPC, that's just another term for any ad where PPC, pay per click, for those that don't know, is you are putting an ad on some platform, whether it's Google, Bing, Yahoo, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere where you put that ad and they click, it's a pay per click situation. For the most part, I'm not going to get into pay per impression, click per impression. PPC, that's exactly what we're talking about, Adam. But SEO is equally as important but more so for the savvy school parents that, you know, at the age of 1 or 2, they're already starting to study and analyze which school they might want to send their child to for kindergarten. Christine asks, our school is full with a wait list in every grade. Do you recommend any changes to our Google ad strategy for now? Christine, no, I wouldn't. In fact, you know, if you look to be robust next year, my guess is, and it actually, depending on what market you are in, it's going to cost you a lot more to get your ad up and running. What I would suggest for you, if you are full with a wait list, is to move to almost, I don't want to say exclusively, because you still want to be able to get some of those folks, but I would move to more of a display-based ad campaign with, you know, without a strong call to action, because probably right now in August for you, there isn't a need for a strong call to action. So display-based ads on, you know, area websites, niche private school review are also good websites where you can put your display ads as opposed to those search ads, but that's a really good question. All right, so focusing on Facebook and Instagram. So remember, people don't go to Facebook and Instagram or even YouTube and, you know, like, oh, I really hope I see a private school ad, you know, on this, or on one of these sites. You know, they do that when they go to Google. Their intent when they go to Google is they type in private school near me, or what, you know, private school, and fill in the name of the town, city that you live in, and that's what they want to do. Now, however, though, social is a great place to retarget and remarket parents, meaning you have direct or indirect data that indicates that that person, that user, is looking for a private school. With remarketing specifically, you know, they've been to your site or they've been to your social pages. With retargeting, they are looking somewhere online for a service like a private school, something that you can provide. So what else do you need to be successful on social right now? Well, as I just kind of said to Christine, you need a strong and very direct call to action. With this fake Facebook ad, that's a tongue twister, seen here, it's a pretty weak call to action. It says, you know, quote, our spacious and safe campus could be for you. You know, yeah, it could be. You're not asking me to click. You're not giving me any reason to really click there. I mean, it's interesting. So you don't want to tease them right now. You want to tell them exactly what to do. So here are a couple examples of CTAs or calls to action that I would use and we're using for some of our school partners right now. Limited spots available, call today. Application deadline for this school year ends August 10th, regardless of space available. I know a lot of families in my area, you know, qualitatively and also just through data, they are waiting until the last minute because they don't want to, you know, lose $100 on an application fee if their intent isn't to go there unless they're opening in person, versus the public school or whatever other option they have that may not be able to open in person until 2021. And then a nice way to do it too is apply by August 8th, and we will waive your application fee. So, I mean, we all, you know, where does that budget, maybe somebody can tell me. I mean, I was always one to suggest that in the schools that I used to work at is, hey, if we want to get this, I mean, we're not going to put tuition on sale, but we can certainly waive a fee. You know, that's going to make us look good for the people that we're waiving the fee for. And, you know, what is $50, $75, $100 when your tuition's $38,000 times however many years that student can be there? It really is peanuts. For another discussion, though. Now, the third tip that I have is for social media, and frankly for search ads too, is that you absolutely positively have to have a strong landing page that continues the message or story presented in the search or social ad. So, Tara, on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate the importance of landing pages on a scale of 1 to 10?
It's such a good segue. I mean, of course, I'm going to talk about landing pages, so they're really important. And when you think about what the question that Christine asked, especially, you know, you can create a landing page that can customize your message based on your current situation. So a landing page is what I'm going to talk about now, and how to build an effective one and what it is. So can you type in the chat if you have a landing page right now? If you have one, if you have a landing page, and I'm going to talk about what a landing page is. Oops, we're jumping ahead.
I did that. I was trying to.
Okay. All right. Bring me back. So a landing page in technical terms, okay, a few, good. So then you probably know, then you're probably using a landing page effectively. A landing page sometimes will be referred to, their homepage of your website might be referred to as a landing page. Technically though, a landing page is a page that's built specifically to coordinate or correspond with some kind of advertising or marketing campaign. So it's a link, it's a page that you can link to that's specifically related to whatever your message is in your advertising. It might be the same basic message as your homepage, but it's usually simplified, boiled down with a clear, specific message and one very distinct purpose, which is to generate a lead, to generate a conversion if you're selling something with a buy now button or whatever. But it usually has a very, very clean, specific design. It has oftentimes no navigation at the top because you don't want people to be distracted. You want them to singularly focus on taking the one action, signing up for an open house, for example. So that's what a traditional marketing landing page is. For a school, for your landing page, you have the opportunity to use this landing page to not only do what I've described, but to tell more about your school. And really, I'm going to talk about the way to approach a landing page as part of this advertising and marketing campaign, and starting with a value proposition. So you're all marketers, so you probably know what a value proposition is. It's what makes you different. So it addresses the pain point of your target audience, what problem they're trying to solve by engaging with your ad, by coming to visit your website. You are answering the question that they have, why should I enroll my child at your school? That your value proposition is what sets you apart and what makes you different. And your landing page must communicate that because you're trying to move them to take action. So what makes you different? How do you, if you haven't already done this, and even if you have, it's probably changing right now with what's happening with shutdowns and with COVID. What is your unique opportunity right now? What makes you different? So you're going to think about who your target audience is and what they're thinking about. As Trevor described, what's on the minds of parents right now? They're feeling very panicked and they have a lot of questions and concerns. So using your landing page as an opportunity to communicate specifically to what you know about your target is really important. Again, how you're solving their problem. Why should they trust you? What information can you communicate that will encourage them to participate further? And then building a relationship with them as you follow through on the process of your landing page. So Adam asks, how important is COVID-related content on the landing pages? I think it depends on your advertising campaign. So if you're, as Trevor communicated, you probably want to address that in your ad, that you're open. So that's what you want to communicate, and you need to keep it up to date and iterate it, relate it to the ad. So if your ad is talking about how you're open, then your landing page should follow up with more information on that. I hope that answers that question. I can talk about it more. So I'm going to kind of go over now. We're going to break down a landing page into different elements and how to think about building it, because if you're running an ad, before you run the ad, you need to think about where people are going afterward. And it's important to spend some time strategizing. So I'm going to talk about sort of the strategic elements of building a landing page, starting with your branding. This seems basic, but a lot of people, a lot of schools don't pay enough attention to being consistent with their branding. That means making sure your logo is consistent, that you're using your logo, that you're using it and that it's crisp and clean and professional looking, as it should be on your website anyway, that your fonts and your colors, that the look is consistent with the rest of your website. You don't want people to then go visit your website and see something completely different. So be consistent and professional with your branding. And then your headline is super important. So often we see headlines that are an independent school serving grades K through 8. Well, yes, you are. That's what you are. That's not your headline. That's not what makes you different. So as Trevor talked about with the ads, this is your opportunity to be creative and be bold and think about how you can set yourself apart by addressing these concerns that parents have, solving their problem. A headline should not be, we are the best school, or we are serving these grades, or we do these things. It is, be creative. I love this one. This is a picture of a student and it's saying, I'm a leader, right? I'm identifying with that message. My student is a leader. I want my child to soar. So think about, if you're the parent, what's going to mean something to you? what is the message about what your child and your family is getting from your school, not what your school is. Headlines are really important. And then photography is also really important. Making sure that your quality of your photographs, that they're sized properly so that they're not blurry, that they're displaying the diversity of your student body, paying attention to that in the series of photos that you have, making sure you have a point of focus. So you're not showing a playground full of kids playing, but there's no eye contact, there's no single focus in that image. Try to have that. And I know right now, with the possibility of not being on campus with your students, makes photography, fresh new photography, a challenge. I think the opportunity that you have is to have some students submit their own photographs so they can show themselves in action, engaging with your school virtually if that's what's happening for you. So take advantage of the opportunity to maybe reach out to your school community for some fresh current photographs and use those on your website if they're of the quality that works. The next element of your landing page. So Lillian says, we had parents take photos of our younger students doing work at home. I've seen that on social media a lot. It's super effective. And so you can then utilize that in your website as well. So you have the headline, you have this photography. This is what we're calling the above the fold section of your website, of your landing page. And you want to have a strong call to action, just like you had in the ads, as Trevor described. So that could be a form or a button that leads to a form or a button that opens up a form, but it should be clear, it should be simple, and it should be above the fold. And then, whoops, your form is also really important. You don't want to ask for too much information. If this is their first contact with you, if you ask them for 30 different things, they're not going to engage. Research shows that the more information you ask for, the participation and the submission of the form goes down. So only ask what you need to know right now about them. If you have a different location, make sure you can ask that question, ask for their email and their name, and not much else. Okay, my button's slipping, there we go. Validation, so I talked about trust. And if you think about when you are looking for a restaurant or a vacation place, a hotel, anything like that, the first thing you probably do after you've found a list is you look at reviews, right? Type in the chat, yes, if you look at reviews for things that you engage in, like restaurants and vacations. Yes, right? So yeah, we all do that. It's really important. We have the ability in Amazon.com or wherever we go to look at what other people say. That's really important. Also, facts are really important. So validation includes some facts. You can use infographics and think about how the questions that are asked when you have sessions with parents, when prospective families come to your open houses, what are they asking you? Take that information and put it into an easy to digest fact on your website. So you're answering the question before they even ask it. You know, they're asking, what's the average class size? Put that in there. That's a really important fact for parents, and you can make it visually appealing and make it something that's validating for them, information that's important. And then, like I talked about just now with reviews, of course, social proof is really important. And your landing page should have some social proof in it. It should have some testimonials or some reviews. Keep in mind that people do not read every word, though. They're going to scan. So you don't want to have a half a page long of 25 different quotes from people. Use some kind of creative way to do a scrolling opportunity, or as shown here with this little action GIF here, this is broken down into different topics you could do so people can click on different messages without having to be overwhelmed by words. And even though it's not on your website, of course, pay attention to the reviews that are given to you on platforms like Google as well. Those are really important. Make sure that you're looking at those regularly, and you can even pull some of those into your landing page. There's some software that will allow you to do that.
Yeah, one thing that we encourage schools to do is, especially if it's not non salesy type emails, emails, social posts like on Facebook, is to push it out there, and either naturally with likes, loves, cares, wows, and with comments, as they start to come in. And you can kind of jumpstart that and ask parents or ask teachers to chime in as well. And then use those for, boost those posts, because that's the social proof that people want. If you're talking about your school and I see, wow, this is a great looking school, and I see, let's just say 1,000 likes and 50, 60 comments, that's social proof to me that this is a pretty awesome organization, because you've got all these people that are talking about it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And that's a good way to collect testimonials as well as on social media, for sure, including video. So video is a really untapped opportunity. And I think schools can really make the most of them, especially also now with iPhones and mobile phones with cameras that are great. Give students the opportunity to record some testimonials about what they like about your school and embed them in your website. I mean, this school has a whole bunch of them, and these are very professionally done, but you can also do videos that are, very simple, that kids record themselves. So I highly encourage you to take advantage of video on your landing page, because people really like to just click and watch. And one more thing about video is that if you can also caption them, because sometimes people don't want to play the sound, that's also something really important to consider when you're adding video to your website. So you've done this, you've built this great landing page, and you've created a call to action with a form that people fill out. And after they fill that out, what happens? So does a message pop up saying, thank you for filling out the form, we'll get back to you? Or do you take them to something that's a lot more effective from a marketing standpoint, which is a separate page that is called a thank you page? So this page redirects after someone clicks submit. We hide them from Google, so there's no way people can really get to them unless they've submitted the form. And then you can use Google Analytics and other tools to measure the traffic coming to that page. So what that allows you to do is get a very clear idea of the conversion from people who are coming to your website from your ad to people who are actually converting and filling out this form. Now, of course, you can look at the number of inquiries and forms that you're getting on the back end, but this kind of ties it all together. And Trevor's going to talk about tracking in a minute. But you can also utilize this thank you page for more information. You could put something really fun there. You could put a surprise message. Thanks for filling this out. Guess what? Here's a free ice cream cone for your kid at the local ice cream shop, or something fun that you could do to engage them more and start building that relationship with them. A thank you page is a really underutilized tool. So I really encourage you to create that if you can. So is navigation okay on the thank you page? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I've heard it suggested to include a follow us call to action. For sure, you can definitely do that with your thank you page. Yes. So this is the opportunity that I think is often lost when people don't use them. A lot of times forms just have a little message that pops up that says, thanks for filling it out. So I encourage you to create this, not just for your landing pages, but throughout your website, your regular contact form as well. You can do this. So think about how you can use a thank you page as part of your marketing toolbox. All right, so you've done all this great stuff. Now you need to follow up. So it doesn't just end there. What happens after they fill out your contact form, your sign up form, your open house form? Hopefully you're making sure that that is going into some kind of a follow-up system, whether you're getting it into an email and you're making sure that you're receiving it there, and that whoever's receiving it is responding in a timely manner, that you have an automated, some kind of a funnel or a contact management system that you can use to set up a series of automated drip emails to people, and that you're really using this opportunity to create a relationship and let people know that you care about them and that you want to build a relationship. This is something that a small school can do because you're probably not being overwhelmed by thousands and thousands of inquiries all at the same time. So I encourage you to make sure you have this set up before you create your landing page and your form so that it kicks into action and that you test it, and make sure that it's working. Okay, should the thank you page and the main website go on the main website or the landing page platform? I would encourage you to put it on your main website. So if you're using a separate landing page service, have the redirect go to your website. Okay, so hopefully that is a good enough overview for you guys on how we build landing pages and what we recommend. Now, once you've done all of this, you've done your ads and you've built your landing page and you've launched it and it's rolling, now what happens? How do you iterate to make this process better? How do you look at what's happening and make sure, beyond the fact that you're checking to see how many inquiries and contracts you're getting, how or else are you paying attention to what's happening so that you can iterate on it and make it work better?
When it comes to tracking tools, you know, I think Google Analytics, it's free for the most part. It's you know, it's the best because you can tie in console, tag manager, Google Ads. There's so much you can tie in there. Obviously, social as well. I would say, you know, and people say like, well, what's the goal of tracking it? What do we want to do? And you know, rightfully, when they ask that, like, hey, if somebody fills out an inquiry form, it doesn't go get lost. It's not as if we are selling products. We provide a service. So usually the first thing is we get a phone call, we get direct email, a form is filled out. So how important are conversions? And I would say for schools, it's not nearly as important as it is for a company that sells a product. So, you know, I think in this case, the two biggest things that I like to look at when I look for schools are the following. And are they coming to your site? Yes or no? And then what are they doing when they come to your site? How much time are they spending there? If they click your ad and they come to your site, and let's say on average they spend 7 seconds, whatever they clicked on, the next page was not what they were expecting, because the story is not continued on the landing page. A lot of times we do see a disconnect between the ad, the landing page, and then maybe the website or subsequent landing pages after that. So are they coming to your site? That's the most important thing. What are they doing on your site? Are they going to, you know, are they, after they fill out a form, or they go through a series of 1, 2, or 3 landing pages? They come to your site, they go to the tuition page, which we all know is the #1 page for new users coming to the site eventually. And if you got a 90% bounce rate, it's because your tuition was too high for them. So it kind of backtracks from there when we think about, why they were coming to the site in the first place. So, you know, and something that I know Tara does a lot of is, you know, what are on those pages? How are you getting them to click anyway? Is it a form? Is it a gated page, entry form to get, you know, a free guided download? You know, those are all great, and those are all fantastic ways to bring them in. Eventually you want them to fill out an application for the school.
Yeah, and I think with that thank you page, there's a real opportunity people don't often know about in Google to set up goals where you can put in that URL and you can measure the traffic to it. So Google Analytics has so much data that you can get really lost and overwhelmed in it, but there should be some top things that you're looking at, which is where they're coming to, how much traffic is coming, how often they're bouncing, and if you can set up goals, what your goal conversion rate is. Those are some key things to look for in Google Analytics, in my opinion. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So we are with a good amount of time here for some questions. I'm going to talk about a next step here with me. So to thank you for participating today and for being here and joining us. And we're really grateful for the opportunity to share all this information with you and hope it's been helpful. I would like to offer you guys a download of a checklist. I have oftentimes heads of school and marketing people ask me, you know, I don't know if my website is doing what it's supposed to be doing. I don't know what to even look for. So there are some free tools that I recommend that are listed on this download, and you can kind of just sign up or go to these websites and just do some basic checking on your website. And then you can act upon that however you like. You can work with your web designer, your web agency to make fixes and improvements if you need them. And then also, because you're here today, I'd like to offer you a free 15-minute Ask Me Anything session. I'm happy to look at your landing pages if you like and give you some advice on that. whatever I can do to answer questions, I'm here to do that. So if you scan this code, or I'm going to put in the chat right now, the link to this page as well, you can go sign up here. And this is my landing page, which has my navigation on it. You can go ahead and fill that out, and you'll hear back from me.
Well, I just really appreciate everybody being on here, and Tara, bringing us together. It gave me an opportunity to wear my suit as opposed to the T-shirt or the polo shirt, depending on if I had a Zoom that day. So I feel I like the fact that I got dressed up. I told Tara this morning, I said, hey, I think I'm going to wear a suit. I'm not trying to outdo you. I just, I needed to, I kind of needed to throw on something a little bit more formal. It's been too many months.
Well, I did put lipstick on, so.
There you go. So for us, Truth Tree, what we're going to do is we're going to provide you with a 15-minute digital marketing strategy session. Really, it's an idea to turbocharge a no-nonsense look at one of your platforms. It's really, all we're going to have time for in 15 minutes. And I say 15 minutes, that's very loose. But what I'd love to do is kind of dive into one of your campaigns, either on Facebook or Google Ads, Bing, LinkedIn, Snapchat. We can talk about Snapchat. We can talk about TikTok, although that might be disappearing any minute now. Anything you want to do with those 15 minutes, and we can take a look at your campaign so we can hopefully make it a little bit better. You can pop on over to truthtreeconsulting.com/boom, or you can, if you have the QR code on your phone, you can do that as well. And I'll type in, let's see, Truth Tree. Probably should have this ready. Boom. Didn't work, but you can copy and paste that. You know how to do that. So, who's got questions that we can answer for you? Really about anything that we've pushed out right now. Anything at all. You've been a subdued bunch in there. So, who wants to come out swinging with a good question in the chat box?
How many of you are have made your decision about what you're doing for virtual, hybrid? Anybody? Quiet. Okay, here we go. In person. Okay, Angie, Massachusetts, back and forth. Requiring to start remote. Wow, you guys. Boy, I send lots of thoughts and courage to you. What a challenging time we are living in, as Trevor said. August 14th. So a lot of you starting in the next week or so. Stupid COVID. Yeah, there you go.
So any questions about anything, landing pages, ads,
leveraging teacher stories at this time, or that would be too big a burden for them in your ads or pages? You mean kind of testimonial type of thing? I mean, I think that hearing from teachers is another part of building trust. So it definitely is an opportunity, whether it's on your landing page, it might be more specific, but whether it's on your landing page or on your website, but it's also a great opportunity in social media to share that kind of information as well, and video for sure.
Yeah, some of our school partners, the best ads that have worked during this time, usually towards the beginning of the pandemic, was sharing photos, and I'm sure you've done it at this point, it's old hat of a screenshot of, or sort of an over-the-shoulder shot of the teacher talking with his or her students, seeing them engaged, and then obviously at-home type projects where kids are engaged. One of our teachers made a pre-KK video of why they love our school, and that has gotten a great response. Yeah, it's things like that. I mean, it's obviously very unsalesy. It has an air of spontaneity to it, which again, I mean, and things like that really resonate with people. If it looks canned, if it looks staged, if it looks professionally produced, they're not going to, they're not going to be as willing to engage with it because they feel like they're being sold to.
So admins are overwhelmed. Just wondering if you have strategies to get people to partner with marketers when they're overwhelmed. And thanks, Adam. So Nancy, so I'm not sure, you mean strategies to get, who do you mean getting people to partner with marketers? Maybe you know what she means, Trevor.
Just
Getting schools.
people to partner with marketers when they're overwhelmed. I mean, I think it's always, a good idea to, you all are so ingrained in your school, and fresh eyes, I think, are always a great thing to have. I mean, it could be something right in front of your face that someone just suggests. I mean, frankly, some of the best marketing strategies that I have heard of or even used were suggested by kids. Like, hey, have you thought about this? Like, no, I haven't. Like, you get lots of credit for that. So, I think those things, it's just a great place, whether it is a strategic marketing partner, or frankly, just, one of the students in your class, out of the mouth of babes.
Yeah. And Nancy, I mean, I think you've got Trevor and I offering 15 minutes. I think taking advantage of some very short, brief opportunities that are free like that might spark some ideas for you on how to engage teachers without overwhelming them, or how to delegate some things to your students and your teachers that they can help you with marketing without much effort on your part. So I'm happy to check in with you and give you some thoughts and ideas for doing that, as I'm sure Trevor is as well.
What do you recommend for Facebook boosting pictures or videos? Whatever you have that's best right now. I wouldn't make a video that's too long. If you have a really compelling photo, that'll work too. Certainly people are more apt to stop their thumb at a video. But really, I mean, A/B testing is great. I mean, from day to day, it could be something different. How long is too long for a video? 30 seconds. 30 seconds is too long, unless it's something super compelling and it's meant for your internal audience. Certainly your internal audience is going to have a little bit more, desire to continue to watch the video because they have something invested. But whatever that video is, don't let them be the cliffhanger at the end. Put whatever's important, kind of put it up front. But 30 seconds, 60 seconds at the very, very longest. And if you can do something in 15 seconds, it's going to get somebody to watch it and change their valuation of your school, because that's really what you want to do. You want to go from, having no valuation of your school because I've never seen it, to even $100. Like, wow, that's great. I would pay $100 to send my kid to this school. Obviously, it needs to be a lot higher than that, but it takes time to build that up.
Yeah. I think also you can use it to tell a story. And in those cases, that type of campaign, they might be a little bit longer. And again, make sure you're captioning them, because I think video in social media, more and more from what I see in reporting, people are scrolling through and sometimes a caption will catch their eye. They don't want the sound to be on. So make sure you're captioning. There are lots of great tools for that.
Mm-hmm. Other questions?
Sure, Lillian, thanks for asking. Good question. Thanks for the questions, everybody.
Any other questions? We certainly don't need to go up to 60 minutes, and we certainly don't have to go over 60 minutes either.
I'd like to know what the Alexa notification was that started your beeping sound. Because I have an Alexa in my office, and probably now she's going to wonder what that's about.
Oh, thanks, Nancy. That's never happened. I've never heard that before. I thought it was coming from the ceiling. Yeah. My wife came down, and it's Alexa. So, it is what it is.
It is. Yeah.
Right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. And again, if you have any thoughts or questions, you know where to find us. You know where to QR code us. Today's Thursday, so hopefully you can enjoy. Well, it's not the weekend yet, but you can spend some time doing some cool stuff before school kicks back in full gear. And really appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. You all keep your power on. Bye-bye.